Georgians battling a devastating disease. And their circle of support is spreading hope through our community. Next on People to People.
It's been so heart-wrenching to really watch this and truly see what this disease is.
And officers put down their badges to pick up baseballs. They're meeting teens on the field to build a better relationship in the streets.
Channel 2's People to People. Community coverage you can count on.
An update today on an unforgettable viral phenomenon. Now, 5 years ago, these videos flooded your timelines. They were everywhere. I get chills just looking at it right now. The Ice Bucket Challenge raised awareness for ALS, which you may know as Lou Gehrig's disease. Now, everyone from past presidents to entire marching bands participated in this. Hello there. I'm Fred Blankenship.
I'm Linda Stouffer. The Ice Bucket Challenge was about more than raising national awareness.
It also means more resources for local families living with the disease. Eileen and Kay have been friends for a long time.
Since our daughters, Jessica and Adrian, were in the second grade, and they're very old.
They've shared countless laughs and tears. 3 years ago, doctors diagnosed Kay with ALS, robbing the once active grandmother of her freedom to move and express herself.
Expressing herself.
Eileen, along with Kay's two daughters, built a circle of support, relying on one another for Kay's everyday care.
It's been so heart-wrenching to really watch this and truly see what this disease is and how hard it is for the families and people that live with this.
As the disease progresses, they know caring for Kay will become harder.
One of our mottos is help for today, hope for tomorrow, and that we really focus on helping individuals and their families living with ALS live their life to the fullest and put them in a community that helps support them.
Adding to this already strong circle of support.
Weeks after you were diagnosed, we went to the ALS Association for a class called ALS 101, which at that time, a lot of information, very overwhelming, but my gosh, you knew there was help out there.
Good luck. There is plenty of ice.
In the summer of 2014, Kay's oldest daughter, Carrie, dumped a bucket of ice water on her head.
Here you go!
It was a while ago, and I didn't think much of ALS. It didn't impact me personally.
Are you ready?
Here we are several years later, dealing with it personally, and it's a whole lot of that money is helping out a whole lot of people now.
The challenge generated $115 million.
There's an enormous number of basic science discoveries that have happened, but also that has translated into probably more clinical trials than we've had in many, many years.
1, 2. Emory University labs got funding through Project Mine, one of more than 200 projects worldwide.
I get out of bed every day in the morning and I come to work. And if I didn't have hope, and if I didn't have interest in this, and I didn't think that we were going to make progress, I wouldn't do it.
While the world waits, this circle of women will continue to shower Kay with love and support.
They're here for her, and no one could do it alone.
And no one can. Help for today, hope for tomorrow, they say. Well, the Ice Bucket Challenge tripled the ALS Association's research budget and led to the discovery of 5 new genes.
And you can become a part of this movement. The Walk to Defeat ALS is Saturday, September 14th at the Georgia State Stadium. It starts at 10 a.m. And they're off. Look at that. More than 400 people raced through SunTrust Park. Starting at the front gates, runners dashed around the stadium's lower level, finishing under the bright lights of center field. The Sager Strong Stadium 3K Fun Run supports Georgia families struggling with blood cancers. The event honors former sports broadcaster Craig Sager. He died 2 years ago after a leukemia fight.
Craig Sager was a keynote speaker for us during a blood cancer conference, and he inspired many of the patients and families there that day. And because of the money that we're raising in fundraisers like this, as well as many others, we're going to be able to see outcomes for patients like better treatments as well as cures.
Craig Sager's family helped host the event at SunTrust Park, raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and hitting a home run for research.
Well, Kroger is asking for your help to fight pancreatic cancer. Our Family to Family partner has icons that you can buy at the checkout to support the nonprofit Purple Pansies. And by 2020, pancreatic cancer is expected to be the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States. But it gets only 2% of research funding. So far, shoppers have donated nearly $90,000. And the fundraiser runs through September 7th at Atlanta Division Kroger stores.
It's kids versus cops. Atlanta teenagers compete against police on the field to help bridge the gap between young adults and the officers patrolling their neighborhoods. Two very different groups coming together.
These are really some cool, down-to-earth people.
Sharing a love for the game.
It's baseball. It's America's sport.
High schoolers are going head-to-head with members of the Atlanta Police Department.
I feel like it's a good way to bring the neighborhood together, have a nice ball game. Just out here to have a good time and compete and show them that we're people too, and we want to be involved in everything they do outside of work as well.
The safe at-home game is 7 innings without an umpire. The catcher makes calls and the teams resolve any disputes.
We have all heard the storylines of the negative relationships that exist between law enforcement and the black community, and this game was actually started on the heels of the Mike Brown shooting. And we all got together as a group and decided we needed to show the beauty that lives in our communities.
Because there's a relationship between these kids and these cops now, that's stopping a lot of altercations, a lot of hard feelings, a lot of animosity.
The ambassador team is made up of students from Atlanta Public Schools who are part of LEAD, a nonprofit dedicated to helping young black men thrive.
LEAD stands for Launch, Expose, Advise, Direct. We scout the Count It Out. We come alongside them and help them understand how valuable they are to themselves, to their families, and to our communities. And we use the sport of baseball to make that connection.
They're on separate teams here, but organizers call this competition a win for the whole community.
We want to start off at baseball, but just make it to where you can run into a police officer down on MLK one day and you be like, hey, I played baseball with you, and it's good to see you again.
It's more to life than just being an officer and trying to chase bad guys. These are real cool dudes.
Well, this was the 5th year for the game. Do you want to know who won? The kids! The LEAD ambassadors took back the title this year with a 9-6 victory.
Well, little ones getting care at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta traded hospital rooms for a new play area, and they were in the zone when our cameras popped inside Scottish Rite.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the zone is a play space with lots of fun games and special activities for patients. During our visit, young artists took a break from treatment to paint T-shirts. And a mom whose son was recently diagnosed with leukemia told us the play area adds color and excitement to difficult hospital visits.
It's really just a great interruption for our day. Otherwise, we're just stuck in the hospital bed with, nurses, doctors in and out. And this is nice. It kind of allows the kids to go have some fun.
Well, Georgia Natural Gas employees were there to help the kids have an amazing time, from picking out their canvases to choosing their favorite colors to cover them.
One of our mottos is working together, serving together, and education and children are 2 of our main focuses. So it's really important that we give back to the community that we serve.
They know that their nurses care, their doctors care, the staff here cares, but to know that people like Georgia Natural Gas and other companies care is really important to them.
And the zone is 100% donor funded and is open to kids every day of the week.
Millions of dollars are making plans for a massive park even better. We were there for the groundbreaking of Westside Park in Northwest Atlanta last year. The Arthur Blank Foundation is giving $17.5 million to continue development. Now, those are renderings of what the 280 acres will look like. Westside Park at Bellwood Quarry will be the largest green space in the city. The first phase is set to open next year.
Well, he led a movement in pop art, but found his love in Western art.
Now, this is something we found really interesting about Andy Warhol, and the Booth Western Museum in Cartersville invites you to explore the iconic artist and his lifelong love of the West.
So this is the exhibition Warhol in the West here at the Booth Western Art Museum, and it really is a review of Andy Warhol's entire life and his fascination with the West. So in the introductory part of the exhibition, you find things from his childhood, a Roy Rogers alarm clock. You find his scrapbook that had his photographs of celebrity actors. You also see his cowboy boots, and you'll see 2 or 3 of them have paint splattered all over them. Those are the ones he wore when he was working in the studio. He also has ones that are pristine. Those are the ones he would have worn when he went out to Studio 54 in the evening. Andy often said he was a mirror to America. He just reflected back who and what we were, whether it was Campbell's Soup or Howdy Doody. And that he didn't have any political axe to grind, he didn't have any social commentary in his work. Yet, the works behind me, he does in 1976. And he asks around for who is one of the leading Native Americans involved in the civil rights movement for Native Americans. And he finds his answer out in this gentleman, Russell Means. Andy tweaks us a little bit by putting this body of work out there and saying, don't forget about the Native Americans and what we did to them during our history. So was he just the surface, as he often said? I don't think so. He was a little deeper than we think. After walking through a timeline of Andy's life and his relationship with the West, we wind up in the last gallery, which shows his Cowboys and Indians portfolio. It's the last major project he did before he died. It's 14 images that cover the history of the West and some of the most important personalities in the West. We've put with each image the source image that Andy worked from, that he appropriated from somebody or some place to create his vision of what the West was all about. There's never been an exhibition that put Andy's Western art in context of his whole career. It's a major traveling exhibition. It's going to be here in Georgia, then Oklahoma, then Washington State, and it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see this body of work. Never been together before, probably never again.
And you think you know so much already, and learning more about this. The exhibit is open now, and you can explore Warhol in the West through December 31st.
School playgrounds look like this most of the year. Now park supporters want to extend the fun long after the last school bell rings.
Better stay with a guitar in my hand.
Well, he's usually on the road performing, but he stopped back home to tell us how a local Boys and Girls Club helped take his talents from the studio to the stage. Well, if you can't take a minute and think about what park is closest to where you live, and if you could walk there in less than 10 minutes.
Our Community Affairs Director, Candace Presley, sat down with a man hard at work connecting more people to our public green spaces. Candace.
Yeah, can you do that walk? Fred, Linda, as Park Pride celebrates 30 years in Atlanta, it's not just looking to improve the parks we have. The nonprofit is exploring creative solutions to increase public access to the outdoors.
Atlanta has what I think of as the green space paradox. When you're flying into Atlanta, you see this lush green tree canopy, but a lot of folks don't realize that Atlanta is underparked for a city of our size. Only between 5 to 6% of the total greenery that you see is parkland in Atlanta. And that means that a third of Atlantans don't live within a 10-minute walk of a park. And so we worked with our friends at the Trust for Public Land to analyze those park-poor areas that also have schools with schoolyards. And so our thought is that we really should expect more of our public spaces and have entered into a partnership with Atlanta Public Schools, with the Parks Department, with our friends at the Trust for Public Land and the Urban Land Institute to pilot an effort to do open up 3 schoolyards for public access in park-poor areas over our first year and a total of 10 over a 3-year period.
That helps us to get to more communities within that 10-minute walk of a public park.
That's right. The way that we look at it is if all of those different schoolyards were actually open for public access through a wave of a magic wand, we would move from a third of Atlantans not living within a 10-minute walk of a park to a fifth. So it really is a sea change. And when you look at the amount of additional land that would need to be acquired, public land, 0. It's all the land that we have there that are owned by our community that we're paying taxes for and making sure that we're getting full use out of those spaces as public spaces.
Park Pride also has a very robust community gardening program within the parks you support.
That's right. Park Pride championed legislation that opened up the possibility and set up the process for setting up and establishing community gardens in City of Atlanta parks. We agreed to marshal those efforts to work through the Office of Park Design to make sure that they're approved and done right at no additional cost to the city. And so that was a great example where there's 22 community gardens in the City of Atlanta parks. There's also those farmers markets. Yesterday I was on a community garden and urban farm tour. So I see a lot of synergies between efforts of making sure that people have access to fresh local food and the idea of having access to nature and green space in communities where we live.
Park Pride is hosting a Green Tie Gala to raise money for all that work. That's coming up on September 19th in downtown Atlanta. We put a link to tickets up at WSB-TV.com/community.
Some struggling parents turn to a local nonprofit for help so they don't have to choose between diapers and food. But the need for diapers is so big, they can hardly stay stocked.
It is a huge need. It is a very real need. Public assistance programs like food stamps and WIC don't allow for the purchase of those items, so there's really no other way for them to get these items except for organizations like ours.
And Helping Mama CEO Jamie Lackey walked us around the Norcross warehouse there. Right now, their diaper supply is nearly gone, and about 800 babies are waiting for more. We put up a link with ways that you can help on our website at WSB-TV.com. Just click on the Community tab.
Thanks to hundreds of runners and walkers, $116,000 is supporting people living with seizure disorders. The Magnolia Run and Walk took off from the shadows of the King and Queen building at 285 and 400. The Epilepsy Foundation estimates 110,000 people around Georgia are living with epilepsy.
The most important part is just to come out here and just be a part of this community. As our team sees the day, he got diagnosed when he was 6 months, and ever since we have not had a single day without any seizures.
The Epilepsy Foundation focuses on education and outreach to improve the quality of life for Georgians.
And men from all over Greater Atlanta will soon have access to life-changing health care. The Community Health and Men's Promotion Summit, also known as CHAMPS, will offer nearly a dozen free health screenings. The family-to-family sponsored event brings together Atlanta physicians to provide those free screenings from vision and hearing to cancer checks and cholesterol tests as well. Now, that health fair is Saturday, September 7th at Clark Atlanta University from 10 until 3 o'clock. Well, education is about more than learning to add or subtract. It's about getting the knowledge that we need to better ourselves and the world.
Teachers who go above and beyond deserve to be recognized. Maybe a little something like this.
Yes, with a $7,500 check, nominations are open for the Teach On Project Awards. And since 2005, the nonprofit has given out more than $1 million to educators.
To nominate a teacher making a difference in Cobb, DeKalb, Fulton, and Gwinnett counties or Atlanta Public Schools, just go to our website, WSB-TV.com. You'll find a link under the Community tab. From a little studio in Atlanta to singing on the big stage, this award-winning artist stopped home to tell us about a local Boys and Girls Club that helped launch his music career.
Well, music is connecting kids and teens to art and opportunity.
We have a look at the noteworthy program that doesn't cost families a dime.
Yeah, I was born in the rain on a poncho tree underneath the Louisiana moon.
It didn't take long for 18-year-old Hunter Flanagan to discover music was part of his destiny.
When I was 16 months old, I knew all the songs and dances to Wizard of Oz. I entered my first contest at 6 years old and I won.
His writing and recording took off after joining the Whitehead Boys and Girls Club in Atlanta's Lakewood neighborhood.
It was mind-blowing for a 14-year-old kid who had just picked up a guitar and was barely playing ukulele to come in and have someone that has a studio help you out.
Nonprofit Notes for Notes operates state-of-the-art recording studios inside Boys and Girls Clubs across the country.
Thank you.
All right.
You ready?
Jen Hodges runs the Atlanta studio where she teaches 7 different instruments and produces albums, giving kids and teens a safe space to learn, create, and record for free.
I have this thing called the magic of the vocal booth, and youth, when they get in there, they open up. It's like there's no barriers. And so they talk about the truth in their lives.
We have somebody who engineers, who builds from the ground up a track. And it's this beautiful piece of artwork that you never thought you could have.
Giving students a voice and the platform to share it.
This is just another
your love song.
Hunter won Georgia Country Awards Teen Artist of the Year. He travels now full-time performing.
It's amazing. I'm so proud. I'm proud of him. Yeah, we couldn't be happier. Happy that he's doing what he loves.
That beat I've heard a million times from.
I don't know where I'd be without Notes for Notes and the program and Jen and everybody. They've done so much for me. I owe a lot.
Riding this was definitely not easy.
Incredible. He sounds great.
It sounds fantastic.
Hunter is also a finalist for Georgia Country Awards Male Artist of the Year.
And if you're interested, Notes for Notes needs more volunteers to teach music at that Boys and Girls Club. We're officially kicking off some fall fun with this amazing view. Yes, the Buford Corn Maze is now open, and Newsroom 2 found our logo tucked in the 5 acres of twists and turns. Oh, WSB-TV, I see you there. You could explore the maze, the hay rides, petting zoo, and more now through mid-November, and just print and present your family-to-family coupon to get a $3 off admission, and you can find it at WSB-TV.com/community.
Earlier this year, she got a crown. Now she takes the cake. Help us celebrate this incredible 100-year-old Georgia gem.
Doris Hardy was born the year Congress passed women's right to vote.
Our camera captured Ms. Hardy in March when she won the Ms. A.G. Rhodes pageant at 99 years young. Well, turns out that was just the beginning of the celebrations. Ms. Hardy just turned 100. The Zion Grove Baptist Church member has 4 kids and worked for Coca-Cola when Robert Woodruff was leading the company. Please help us wish a very happy birthday and many, many more to Ms. Hardy.
Ms. Hardy, happy birthday, and we love you. And you can celebrate all the good news coming from your community, and there's lots of good news, by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search WSB-TV Community.
Thank you so much for watching People to People, community coverage you can count on. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.